Hello there and welcome to another one. I trust I find you in good spirits. My name is Tatenda, back with another one. I'm not with the white guy for once. The white guy came last week and is gone again. And the one that is here today, and before I welcome you and your mates and everyone, if you're here for the first time, obviously please like, share and subscribe. That's how the channel grows and everything that we're trying to achieve in this world, in this society. Anyway, I said I'm not here with the white guy, and you're gonna see the guy that is with me in a short space of time. But my wife always says that I don't keep secrets. This is what happens when the podcast was, I think, I was 3 or 4 episodes in. Then I sent this guy a message and I'm like, can you please come to the podcast? And he's like, yeah, that's never. And this guy calls me Spar, not because I married his sister, but because it is, my wife is Kosa, so easy, but we are Spar because of other individual, other areas of life that have nothing to do with the fact that I married his sister. Ladies and gentlemen, meet a guy that for the first time when I saw him, don't cry.
No.
First time that I met this guy, I was like, you know what? There are certain individuals that have got their life together in the sense that they are responsible, they are present dads. And to me, it came to me as, wow, this is the South Africa, or this is the society that we want to portray, and no one puts a limelight on that because there is always that perception that as black men, we are not there for our children. We don't want to take responsibility, and we just go ahead and just leave kids in hanging, or we're not raising our children. And I looked at him and I was like, this guy, you know what? At that point, I was not calling him Spar. It was just a mate at the club that we meet and we play cricket together. And there was not even so much banter like there is going to be in this shoot. And ladies and gentlemen, let me leave the banter for later on in the shoot. Ladies and gentlemen, meet Mr. Ondela Hlwati. Spar.
Tats.
Because I'm giving you such a
no.
good intro, bro.
Hey, it's surprising, that you have such glowing intro for Mna. I wasn't expecting it.
Now, ngisakafuna ukukhala madod.
No. There are very few things as in Kalisai.
Oh, very few.
Yeah, very few. You know, when I see abantwana bengekho happy, yabona ke then.
Yeah.
That is touching me on my studio.
Yeah.
But thanks, Tats, man. I think that intro of me, I wasn't expecting. Well, I didn't realize that I had that impact on.
In all honesty, I think let's let this be a bromance kind of vibe where gents are just pouring out.
Yeah.
I promise you, the first time that I saw you and the way you are such a present dad, bruh. Now, if I could be half the man that you are, I think I would have achieved so much in my life. Let me just put it out there.
Yeah.
Whenever I wake up and Halake says he wants this, or I'm doing something for Halake, or I'm sacrificing for him, I'm like, you know what? Ondela won't even think twice. So it's... That's where, and when I say Spar to you, I'm not saying it just because we're so used to the name and whatnot.
Yeah.
You really mean a lot to me, bro. It's so amazing to have a gent that not only do we meet on the cricket field and get inspired from a sporting point of view, but also get inspired from a life's perspective, because it's rough out there. So, bruh, I truly appreciate you, man.
Ndiyabulela, Tats. I think what you're saying is very important, being present in the kids and whatnot. But I think for me, it's deeper than that. When I was growing up, my father was not present in my life. So I know what it's like not to have a present father. And I made a vow to myself that I will never subject my kids to that. So it's a conscious decision that I took with myself. There are very few people who know that.
Yeah.
So it stems from that, because I'm one of those stats. Unfortunately, fortunately for me, I didn't end up. I didn't use that as an excuse. Let me not say as an excuse. I was fortunate to have a support system. Let me put it like that.
I see.
From uncles, or tatomncinci and the likes, father figures in my life. So they played a huge role, but there's nothing that can replace that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I happen to know what that.
It's so amazing. And before we jump into it, for the person that is here for the first time, please let me know in the comment section how you know this guy and if you've got good memories. And even if you don't have good memories, I want to know about it, because there's no way one can be so perfect.
How?
Did you see what I did there? Did you see?
Yeah, you
So,
threw me under the bus.
Let's just give Ondela some flowers in the comment section if you know about him or you've met him. And the guys from the cricket, you can testify of the guy that he is. So let us know in the comment section. Yeah, I was trying to say that they said there was a scenario of two boys that were raised by mom and dad. But then of the two boys, dad was abusive. And dad was beating mom, scolding mom, disrespecting mom and whatnot. And when the boys grow up, one of them treated his wife exactly like what he saw dad do. The other one made a vow that I will never put my wife through this because of what I saw my mom go through. So like you're saying that you grew up without a dad. You could have easily said, I never had a father's figure. So what is it to be present? So how do I copy something that I never saw? How do I write an exam that I never studied for, kind of?
You see, in every situation, there are two learnings. There's the good learning, and then there's the bad learning. In this situation of mine, I chose to look at the glass half full. You know, I said, no, it stops with me. On my kids, none of that. That's not going to happen. And also it extends to my mom as well, because now she had to overcompensate because there's no father figure. I think some of the challenges, they come through that, because now you've got a mom who's trying to overcompensate and make sure that or try and make the child feel that the father is not here. You know, you try and
it's okay. It's not a bad thing.
It's not really a bad thing.
It's not the worst. Yeah.
We shower kids, or mothers would shower kids with a whole host of stuff. They like spoiling them and trying to overcompensate, but that will never replace utata. So in my situation, when I looked at it, I was like, okay, this is the situation. It's also putting strain on my mom. You know, I think I was not an easy child to raise. If she was listening,
you're not an easy friend to have.
If she was listening in on this, she would know. Yeah, no, I'm telling the truth.
Okay.
Yeah, I was not an
no
easy child.
filter.
No filter there. My uncles know as well. It was not easy to. So from there, you basically it becomes a, because I saw what my mom was going through, and then I said, okay, I don't want anyone to go through what my mom went through on my watch. This now extends to the mother of my kids. You know, I have 3 kids. Unfortunately, they all come from 3 different mothers. I was married once, but with that, I try and make sure that they do not have to overcompensate. Everything that they do for the kids, it's they remain the mom. The dad space, I step up. Some of them, in fact, 2 of them, I don't stay with them, but I try and make every effort, you know, to be there on the important days of their lives, birthdays. It's not always possible.
Yeah, life happens.
Life does happen. But I think what's important is to try, the will to try. When you know you're making an effort to try and be there for those, it's the small things that really matter. You know, I remember my son, my eldest son, Singer. He visited me this one time. So it was the three of us. Power was here as well. It was me and the boys. So what happened was, I know my way around the kitchen. I can cook.
You can cook?
Yeah, I can cook.
No wonder. He sent us a message and he's like, I'm just finishing up with dinner. And I'm like, listen to this guy. He just bought takeaway and he's saying finishing up with dinner.
No.
Taking notes,
I cook. Probably if I had someone to do the cooking for me.
You would.
Yeah.
But you do it. Yeah.
But yeah, I do that. And there was the joy I had when my son, the eldest son, said to me, Dad, your food tastes nice.
Wow. Okay.
You know, if I was not there, those are things that money can.
And money can't buy that.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
And
that experience,
yeah.
even if you'd sent the money through, you are not there.
No, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So it's those things that I'm like, oh wow, I'm doing something right. You know, they're not affectionate kids. You know that they would tell their at least father and like, Dad, I love you. No. But when they do, it
Comes
hits.
from-
I know it comes from the heart and it hits differently. Growing up, I think I started hugging my mom not so long ago. Like when hugging, no, it was
Like,
unheard.
come on. Really?
Yeah. At first, she would hug me on my birthday, and I'm like, it feels weird
Come on.
because I'm not used to this. So now with my daughter, when she's around, I would get random hugs. You know, they would be playing there in the room.
Just comes through.
I'm like, okay, what's that for? Oh, just because you're a cool dad.
Oh,
okay.
that's
I
am a cool dad. Yeah.
Well, I'd like if they think so.
Great, I'll take it.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You mentioned that you grew up and your dad wasn't around, and you saw the struggles, because not saying that your mom was struggling to raise you, but then there are certain things that it's only a father that can have the certain discussions. It's just like, I'm not there yet with my son where he's gonna come to me and says, this is my girlfriend, and we're gonna speak about girls or relationships, or if I had a daughter, speak about periods for crying out loud, or something of that sort. You said your mom was struggling in that, and you seeing that, did it dawn on you from back then that I don't want to be absent from my life, or it's, as you become a grown-up, that's when you start realizing that, oh, when she was telling us to go to sleep, this is what she meant. When she was telling us to switch off the lights, this is what she meant. All these things start off to sort of come when you are grown up, like, oh, no wonder.
Yeah.
Was it that's the case, or you also,
No.
as you're growing up?
It was that case.
Yeah.
It was precisely that case.
Yeah.
As I said, growing up, I was not an easy child.
By not easy child, what do you mean? What did you do?
I was on the naughty side. Yeah, I was on the naughty side. It's funny, there's this story that I always relay. I stayed with my uncle for a while. So I remember this one time I was scolded for, I think it was around the household chores, the dishes. So I'm like, okay, no, I'll do the dishes when everyone is done. But in the meantime, let me just go to the room, lie down.
Do my thing.
Doing my thing was, back then we had those spring beds. There was a bit of space between the floor and the mattress.
Mattress, yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, no, this
And the
light,
base,
this light is too bright for me. Where can I find? If I switch it off, it's gonna be too dark.
Too dark, okay.
And I'm like, oh, okay, underneath the bed, let me just go there. And I tried to read this book. Hey, little did I know I fell asleep.
Go on.
Yeah, and now, you must remember now, my uncle has just scolded me for something. Now, they're looking for me in the house, they can't find me. And hey, they even went to my friends.
And we're not gone.
No, I'm sleeping underneath the bed. This is a true story. I'm sleeping. I have no clue what's happening.
Yeah.
The intention was for me to go and read the book.
And with reading comes nice
reading,
sleep.
Then I dozed off. So now you can understand the how hysterical my uncle was now at this point in time. At the time, I didn't realize. That's what I had done.
What's with the the
what's
drama?
With, I don't like. I honestly.
So they
didn't
thought you
understand.
ran away from home.
They thought I ran away, and meanwhile I was just sleeping, you know. And now, from the sleeping, and then I straightened one of my legs. So when he was coming back, going into his room,
there you are.
So,
there's a leg.
Yeah, there's a. You know, I'm not the well-gifted person, you know. So it was this tiny thing. This guy, he pulled me from the bed, you know, and
you
know
got
when you
from
wake
deep
up,
sleep.
deep
right?
sleep, and then as I'm trying to figure out what's happening, I hit my head onto the base.
On the base,
yeah, and then so I get there. The house is like everyone is hysterical, and I'm like, what's going on here, guys?
Yeah.
So from there, and then he asked me. He was angry, you know. Because what I remember, he asked me, Ondela, unaingondo. And then I'm like, I had to think twice. I had to think very fast
Before answering. Because every answer is a potential threat, yeah.
If I say naingondo, then I'm going to get a beating. Let me try uti andinayo. To think uti.
But you're being sarcastic.
No, I was not. I was like, what's the answer that would
possibly save me?
You would save me and give me the least punishment.
Best case scenario.
Yeah, and it worked. You know, because when I said that's Ondela unaingondo, ay malume, he started out laughing. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
okay.
no, fantastic.
You broke the ice.
I'll take that. At least now, if he's going to hit me, it's not going to be from someone who's angry.
Yes, yeah.
So that's when these are some of the things when I mean, it was not easy. You know, of course, the intention was not to pull a prank on them. You know, the intention was good. It's just that you get absent-minded at times. So, and there will be certain things that we ask from, and of course there are certain things that you'd be more comfortable asking from Udata.
Not mom.
Yeah. So those I ended up not asking because Ageko Udata. And Angile is there, but
it's not there.
Yeah, it's not the same.
Yes.
Yeah, and the whole issue of girlfriends,
you can't tell.
No.
Yeah, you can't. Especially an African mom.
No.
You can't. I think right now the children that we are raising can easily say, "That's my girlfriend," or I'm going to meet my girlfriend, or I'm going with my girlfriend's parents to holiday and all that. I think it's just how life is designed. But as we were growing up, that was
it was unheard of. It was unheard. Look, talking about that, you know, I was shocked, on Valentine's Day. Fetched to power from school.
I remember that stuff.
And then he tells me, Dad, can we buy something for
Valentine's?
Yeah. And I'm like, hey.
Okay. For okay,
now what do I do?
Do you say no? Or do you take that opportunity to become a modern dad?
You see, that's what went through my mind. And I'm like, okay, now what do I do? No one prepares you for such questions, by the way.
It's not in the book.
No blueprint. And when to get that, or when they ask you that question,
what to
you
say?
Least expect it. Now you have to think on your feet quickly, very fast. So I get asked for Valentine's stuff, and I'm like, okay, here there are two things that need to happen. I can be my uncle and shut this conversation
right now
and squash it. And I said, okay, no. I didn't enjoy that.
Oh, okay. When it was happening to you?
Yeah. And then I'm like, okay, do I become the liberal dad who now embraces this thing? And
but is it making me happy?
Look, I'm more than anything, it's them that I'm concerned about. Are they? I took positive from the fact that Benasis Bindi to come
to you. It's actually a good thing. It's a commendable thing. Yeah.
So now, if I squash this thing, then next time when he wants to bring something to me, He's
That's
going to
it.
be like,
No, I can't.
you know. And then he ends up bottling things, you know, whereas we could help. And I could help at this point in time because you wanted the budget for
Valentine's. Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, sure, no problem. But I was,
swallowing so much, yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm thinking to myself, Jesus, my goodness, what is happening? How, okay. But I knew what I did not want to happen.
Okay.
And then I'm like, if I don't want this to happen, then this is the route that I must take. I must embrace this thing, but I must set parameters. Parameters are very important. I said, okay, sure, no problem. Let's have a budget now for this thing.
Okay.
I had to think fast and say, okay, here is a budget for this. What do you want to buy?
Okay.
So we're having that conversation. And then he ended up, he wanted the flowers and initially. And I said, okay, sure, no problem. I'm not going to get involved in
what you want to buy.
But I'm just going to show you the situation. You've got a budget.
This is how much you've got. Okay.
So now you must think about what
everything
you want
has to
get.
fit within that. Yeah.
Now we had a budget of about $300, and I said, okay, sure. Flowers. Went to Woolies there. You know, on Valentine's Day, you're gonna see those flowers.
So many. Yeah.
By the entrance, and I'm like, yeah, Baba.
Tut.
And these are the flowers, and I'm watching. Flowers, 170. Look, when you buy flowers, you must buy the vase. Vase is about 110 or something.
That 300 is already...
Yeah, it's gone. You'll be left with small change.
Yeah.
And then he looked at me and says, okay, maybe not flowers.
Now already decisions are now being made because of finances. Because you're thinking, okay, yeah.
So you see, now a mother, for example, who was asked that, might not want to have a budget because he feels that if, let's say, a single mom who the father's child is absent, they might want to say, no, I'm going to get him everything that he wants. Gandhi, from that budget, there's most of the things that I do, I always want to couple them with learnings. You know, not everything is free.
It's true.
It's in abundance.
There's always a lesson somewhere.
Yeah, not everything is abundant. So now they'd want to try and overcompensate. Okay, now we'll get the flowers, we'll get this,
the chocolate, we'll get that.
And then this thing spirals to 800, 1,000 bucks.
And he doesn't even care because mom said it's okay.
And they mean well. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that they mean well. The intentions are good.
Right, yeah.
You see. So from that exercise of the Valentines, I think he really had a great Valentine. And then the following day, on Valentine's Day, when he came back with gifts as well.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, okay.
Okay.
If Valentine apekaya.
So it goes both ways.
Okay.
Representing.
I got
nothing.
I didn't buy anything.
And you got nothing.
I got nothing.
And you can't complain because you didn't give anything.
No, I'm not complaining. So I'm like, oh, okay. In the Hlwati household, smelung power. Okay. So it was an exchange of gifts. Now, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, I did well for my boy.
Had you squashed it?
Ted.
Had
I squashed that thing,
it was going to kill him forever.
Yes, it was going to kill him and probably change how he looks at me.
Wow.
But now, there's no blueprint, as I've said. There's no blueprint to say, if you do these, and then, these things, it's pay as you learn.
Literally, you're learning on the job.
Yeah, you're learning on the job.
It's so amazing that you pointed out that if was umama, and that's the repercussion of having an absent dad, because now mom is subjecting or projecting what she would have wanted on Valentine's. Yes. I don't want my boy to make another woman go through what I'm going through because my man was not there for me. My man is not there for me. So in as much as you may look at it as there's no lesson learned there, but there's actually a lesson there because of the brokenness of you not being there, now the mom ends up making decisions that are not for the benefit of the child's future,
Yeah.
but rather for now.
Yeah.
Yes, we can blow 1,000 rand and the kid doesn't care whether that 1,000 rand, where is it going to come from? Maybe it came from a car installment. Maybe it came from a house or
There's
groceries.
a compromise somewhere.
Yes, there's somewhere there to pinch.
Yeah.
But then if the kid does not understand this, then we've already screwed them up even budget-wise.
Yeah.
That's why you end up finding adults that just get into a shop and come out with stuff. Like,
Yeah, eh.
did you need that? Like, I wanted to need it.
You see that one? When I go to the shop, I think most guys can relate. When we go to the shop, we
I'm going
know
there,
what we want.
out.
I haven't met a lot of guys that actually like going to the mall. When you go to the mall, you go to that specific shop.
Yeah,
When you're done, you leave.
out. If I went to Pick and Pay to buy milk, I'm going to buy milk.
That's it.
And get out.
Yeah. Even if that milk costs cheaper
No.
at Checkers,
Nah.
who is
Walking all the way.
No.
I remember my aunt was said the same thing. Says when I'm going to grocery shopping, she goes with every paper, every pamphlet for a sale. So okay, Oros is 45 rand at Spar. It's 43 rand at Pick and Pay. So we're going to Pick and Pay. Now there's washing powder. I think it's 2 rand cheaper at Spar. No, it's like,
No, that's
I
too
don't
much
have.
admin.
I don't have that.
No, that's too much admin.
You said that there's stuff that you would hold back as you were growing up, and you ended up not asking them because umalume is malume, and mom can't really provide for them. What did that do to you as a child mentally?
Look, I was a carefree child, Tet. I just always knew what there are important things and there are wants. There are needs and then there are wants. For instance, let me make an example. Growing up, I think in primary, I never had a full cricket kit. Just got a bat.
Yeah.
You'll get it at school. So now, well, fortunately, where I went, no one really had a bag.
Okay.
Yeah, so we were all in the same WhatsApp.
So you could fit in.
Yes. So it did not. It was mostly cricketing stuff I would want. I remember there was a phase that we went through. I spent a little bit of time in my childhood, M.A.N. And we were boxers there. I think I stayed next to, in our area, there was, in fact, my friend's father was a boxing trainer. So we went to gym boxing and we did all sorts of things like as a group of guys. And then there are boxing boots.
Okay.
I asked for boxing boots from my uncle. I tried to save my pocket money, but even my mom, he did everything in his power to make sure I do not get those boxing boots.
Okay.
Because he was against boxing. Yeah.
Okay.
So he imposed his
insecurities or hate for the sport.
Yeah, I would say insecurities, and the sport was loved, but he just didn't want his umchana wake to be involved in that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that discouraged me from boxing. So he won.
Okay.
And then as I grew up, I'm like, there are certain things that I will ask from my if they are not a need, let me not even bother. Also. And then when I started staying with my mom, I then realized, okay, let me try and push the envelope, see what happens when I ask. And then, I would, hence, I chose the word overcompensate very carefully. So that's what would happen. And but then what it did to me, I took the positive out of that. Yes, there are needs and there are wants. Every now and then you can spoil your child. I seldom got spoiled when I was
You're still eating and you've got a roof over
Yeah,
your head. That's
so
spoiled enough.
What
more
you
do you want?
complaining about?
Yes, yeah.
So for it, I don't think it affected me in every situation that I be it adverse. I have this thing in my mind, and that it's not permanent. Even the good ones. You'd know this. You'd have in cricket, someone having a season of his life. The very next season.
It doesn't guarantee that next season.
Yeah, that the next season. So nothing stays permanent. I'm like, okay, look, I'm grateful for what I've got, because when I go to the village and I would see how the guys are living or what they have, and then I'd realize, no, man.
I'm lucky. Fact, I'm blessed.
I'm blessed. These guys are trying their best. So it did not affect me adversely. I'm fortunate in that. I rather use it, adverse situations, as learnings.
Yeah.
A simple thing for me, when I'm in a dark place or in a dark corner, I don't enjoy drinking. I associate, as some people would say, when they're in a dark place, they would want to drink. For me, it's when I'm having a drink, it's to have fun.
You're in a good space. Yeah.
I'm in a
You're
good
not
space.
running away.
Yes.
You are not running to the bottle.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. I'm fortunate in that. So in whatever situation, like honestly, if I'm in a dark place or I'm going through the most, I'm like, no. I don't want. Yeah, I need to be sober-minded.
To face that. But then it takes a great deal of mental strength to be at that point. Did you fall to then realize that you are that mentally strong? Because someone is watching this and thinking, yeah, I get what Ondela is saying, but I feel like if I don't have the bottle, then I can't deal. Or if I'm not drinking or doing something, if I'm sober, I can't face this head on. And a lot of gents are going through that. If gents were not going through that, then we wouldn't have suicides. Yeah. The amount of suicides is because something is going on with gents. But I don't think as gents we are willing to have that conversation. And if someone like you is saying, when I'm going through a bad spot, I don't want to drink.
Yeah.
I want to drink because I'm enjoying drinking, not because I have to drink.
Yeah.
But it's not the same case with someone that is watching this and struggling. We know our mate, and we're not going to mention his name. And the first thing that we asked him was, why are you drinking again? Things like, no one cares about me. And from my perspective, I'm thinking that's a stupid answer.
Yeah, victim mentality.
Yes. Like literally, are you looking at yourself as a victim? Are you looking at yourself as the world owes you, or things happened because you were the victim and things were not supposed to happen the way they did, and that's why you can't cope? So someone is running to the alcohol that you're saying, when I'm in a dark spot, I can't do that. It takes a great deal of mental strength. Did that come about because you once fell and you came back up and you're dusting yourself and say, I've got experience now. I am in a better spot, or I'm a better person now?
No, I can't really pin it down to say it. It's just I'm gonna call it and say I'm fortunate to be wired like that. And I'm not judging those that hit the bottle when they are. I find it, for me, it's a choice. Like with everything, you start somewhere. So when you want to start something, it starts with the mind. You say, okay, look, I'm seeing a lot of people, or this is what's happening. Or even going back to my example, growing up without my father not being present. I then looked at that and said, okay, that's a situation. My mother did not apply for that.
Yeah,
I didn't apply for that.
Yeah.
I didn't know why he became absent. But then I said, okay, this situation is not permanent. It's not made by these people that are around me. Now, how do I make the most
Out of it.
from it? I believe in being comfortable. I enjoy being comfortable, even in the uncomfortable situations. So when I'm going through whatever I'm going through in life, I've mentioned to you I was married, so I went through a divorce. When I was going through that, I was like, no, man. In order for me, I know myself. That's one thing. I make the best decisions when I'm focused, when I'm sober, so to speak. And I've seen it, as I grow up. And I said, then why change a winning formula, if I may put it like that? It has worked for me. And I'm happy with it. It provides me that comfort. It gives me that light at the end of the tunnel. I'm a firm believer in that. When you're going through something, allow yourself to hit rock bottom, because from there the only way is up.
True.
Yeah.
True.
So sometimes, a challenge could be that we don't want to get to rock bottom.
Are we scared to get to rock bottom?
Yeah, we are. I also am scared. In a lot of things have happened in my lifetime. When you're going through a divorce, you feel like you are a failure. Firstly, you've combined these two families. Now your elders are going to look at you and say, why, and then, when you then make decisions based on what people think, that's where lies in the problem. Because, as I've said, you know yourself better than anyone. When is your best? When are you at your best?
Okay.
So when you are going through the most, that's when you need your best. And my best, I get it when I'm focused. I get it when I've hit rock. I allow myself to hit rock bottom. I think it's the reason why we don't want to allow ourselves to hit rock bottom is bazothina bantu syndrome.
We are so worried about what the next door neighbor is
and I'm
going to
like,
say.
no, it's fine. I'm going through this. When are you not going through me? And so now, if I'm going to worry about uzothina uthets,
what about my issues? My issues are on hold because I'm worried about you.
So I put everything, like, I focus on me when I'm going through and that focus, it's best, and you learn the best when you know what is happening at that point in time. So when you've hit rock bottom,
It happens.
yeah, it happens. But now, you're not going to hit the bottle. Okay, let me put it like this. For me, the chances of getting another job or getting myself out of that unemployment situation, be it being self-employed or getting another job, I need to be at my best
To come back.
to come back from that.
So if I drink, I take the bottle, I'm going to be worse off.
Yeah,
I'm never going to come out of there.
No. That's my belief. I don't think I'll be able to.
Is it inconsiderate of us gents to look at someone and go, that is stupid, or that is unwise, when they come to you with a victim mentality? How can Ondela comes to me and says, I'm going to take drugs because I can't do this life, or I'm going to take my life because I can't do this life. Is it inconsiderate for Ondela to say, no, Tess, don't be stupid? How do we deal with another brother that is coming to us and saying, or not even coming to us, but we are seeing a brother fall down, and you know that if you keep on going straight, there is a cliff. You're going to fall.
There's no coming back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How do we deal with that when a brother, and we are noticing that a brother is going through a dip, be it divorce? Because they say that divorce has got after effects. It's like someone made an example, and can I cut this? I can't cut this paper. And it was an example that happened. We went to a mate's couple's weekend, and he gave an example of a paper, right? So here's a paper. And I want you to try it as well in your comment section. And he says, so if you do this is a complete couple, and you tear. There is parts of this paper on here, on the edges.
Yeah.
So that's the same thing with divorce.
Yeah.
When divorce happens, it's never equal. A part of you goes with the failed relationship.
Yeah.
A part of you goes with the failed relationship. When you're going through that as a gent, and you know that you never walked in to fail,
Yeah.
what's happening? I think tackle that before are we inconsiderate when someone is going through and falling into a cliff.
Look, it's a difficult one. You know, the analogy you're making about, or the example you're making about the piece of paper. For me, I always accept whatever situation. The starting point is to accept the situation, firstly, and be honest with yourself. You know, when the paper was tearing, you know, I become honest and say, what role did I play in that split, you know? And it starts from there. If we are honest with each other, because I could come to you and tell you a different story in terms of what transpired. She could go to her friends and tell a different story. But now, it starts with being honest with yourself. So, yes, you are correct. There are pieces of you in that failed relationship, but accepting what it is has given me a lot of peace in my mind. That failed relationship doesn't define me. It failed. I didn't fail. I'm still here.
Sure.
I've got an opportunity to enter. I'm going to enter, in fact, into another relationship, which is not.
If I fail again, it's fine.
Yeah, it's being realistic. You know, we need to be realistic and honest with it, with self first, before I expect that honesty from
someone else.
Yeah, from someone else. So if someone comes in and says they are a victim, it's really sad, you know, when you see them going to a cliff. But as people close to that person, you know, the best thing to try and do, of course, I'm a firm believer in that. I always say what is on my mind, irrespective of how the other person is.
So if you're nonsense, you're nonsense.
Yeah, no, it is what it is. No, unfortunately. That's what I think. And not to say you are nonsense or the decision made.
Or the decision is nonsense.
The decision is
It's
nonsense.
Yeah.
You know. So it's different, Ted. So, you know, when you're bringing in a victim mentality, and for me, it's difficult. I think, again, I'm not sure whether I'm going to be controversial, and I think sometimes we grew up differently from the white folk, you know. We have to, you know, we grew up having to go get what we want.
Work hard for it.
Yeah.
It's not given. It's not freely given.
Yeah. We work really hard. We see it everywhere, even in sport or whatever. The attitude of Mdomnyama, sometimes, not always, the attitude of Mdomnyama, you know, it's to say, for instance, there's one meme that I enjoy, I love, It's a small boy who's carrying, I don't know igaba in English, but igaba.
What's it cover?
Um,
Oh yes, a hoe. A hoe.
I'm not
Yes.
sure.
H-O-E. Yeah.
Yeah.
H-O-E. Hoe.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
So he's carrying that. You can see Usuga he's going to M.A.N. And the caption is, "We left home to change home." So
Wow.
we are go-getters. We know that there are opportunities out there, and no one is going to bring those opportunities
To you, you have to go
us.
grab them.
Yes. So now, it's difficult for me to be the victim. You know, I'm saying no. I'm not the victim here. Even if I am the victim.
But I choose not to believe that
Yes.
I am the victim.
Yeah. I'm gonna do everything in my power to change my situation because I come to die.
No one is coming.
No one is coming.
And it's true, no one is coming.
No.
Yeah.
It's yourself. You know, you can do everything and try and convince the guy, but no, what you are saying is nonsensical, or your decision making is nonsensical. If you now decide,
It is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. I think the best thing we can do is to convey what we think.
But it doesn't guarantee that they will
No,
change
no,
their
no.
mind. Or we mustn't get offended when they don't change
No,
based
no,
on
no.
our advice,
No,
I
no,
guess.
no, no,
So the best we can do is just say it what it is.
Yes.
As it is.
Yes.
Whether they
That's-
take it or not.
That's my philosophy.
Yeah.
That's my philosophy. It's it has worked for me.
Yeah.
You know, as we grow, you know, we evolve and we become wiser by what we have gone through, what we have learned, or what we've seen around us and whatnot. So it's, for me, I wouldn't call it you are being insensitive when you say, no, what you're doing is nonsensical. Your decision making is nonsensical. If it is, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I expect the same. If I'm making a nonsensical decision,
Tell me straight.
know, yeah,
I
tell me
think
straight.
I appreciate the mates that are going to tell me that my decisions are
absolutely.
nonsense than mates that are just going to say, oh, yeah, do
Yeah.
your thing, you understand? I think we're growing up in a society where we are so scared of offending people.
Yes.
Like, if I tell them the truth, if I come to you asking for advice and you give me advice opposite to what I was already thinking to do, then you have offended me.
You've lost a friend.
You see?
Kanjani.
So we're never friends if we can't be honest with one another as to how life is gonna be. Once you've been a present dad to your 3 kids, how have you managed to navigate the difficulties of you now being in a relationship or you seeing other people and their moms are also gonna see other people? And I know from my perspective, my wife's baby daddy, I wouldn't sit down with him in the same room and say, yeah, maybe I would if he wants to take care of his kids and whatnot, yes. But then it's always going to be it has to be a conscious thing, like, just do it for the sake of the children, you understand?
Yeah.
How have you managed that balance? They are dating other people, other men, and you are dating other women, and there is the dynamic that we're facing here.
No, for me, it's not even an issue, honestly, because I know what the relationship has failed, and I thrive from I move from the assumption that she would not bring in someone that would harm the kids.
Kids, yeah.
Not to say, you know, there are instances where the intention is not there, but there's harm, you know, to the kid. For me, the central point is always the child. I always focus on the child. Sometimes it gets misconstrued in that, why do I care? And I'm like, no.
That's my kid.
It's my child.
Yes,
You know?
yeah.
I remember with one of the kid's mom, they when I went to collect, so I'd get there, I'd feel that there was a party. So I'd get there, say on a Saturday morning, there was a party, people did not sleep. That's the lifestyle that she has chosen, for example. And I'm like, no, but this thing
But
is
you're not happy with it.
Yes. Yeah, because it's affecting
My child.
this.
It's
guy.
nothing to do with you making a decision for her.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now I dealt with her directly and said, look, this is what I've seen, this is what I've noticed, and it's affecting this boy. You can have this thing that ukusa, maybe when he's not there. And fortunately, I was present in such a way that on if not all the weekends or most weekends, I would take him. He would be with me.
Okay.
And there's an opportunity.
Do your thing.
Yes. Not to say that I don't drink. No, I do. But I even go as far as ask them for permission when I want to drink.
Okay.
Are they comfortable with me having a drink?
Or friends over to have a few drinks.
Yes.
Yeah.
So because they are this is their home as well.
So they also need that
Yes,
privacy.
They need that privacy. They need that consideration. So that was, in this instance, it was like, no, but why am I controlling her? And I'm like, no, it's not.
Because one would think that you're coming from a controlling perspective.
Yes.
Don't live your life or do. But then it happens as well with women where the woman doesn't want the ex to go into a relationship with someone else because that's not good for my kids. But then it's coming from a point that they're still holding on to that relationship, that you can't move on.
Yes.
And what you're saying is from a spot of you have made peace with the fact that you've broken up. But have they made peace with the fact that they've broken up with you? I think that's where the feud now becomes, it's now complicated. Yeah.
It never happens simultaneously.
Okay.
It never happens simultaneously. Teds. We call it in ngesixhosa mhlambe kusekhona ichange.
Okay.
And
just a bit
of mhlambe there were hopes or certain dreams.
And women always have those. Or gents as well always have those. Yeah.
But it's for me, honestly, it's everything centers around the child. I think the most important person there is the child. From a dating perspective, it's I don't hide my kids. If someone is going to be in my life, they ought to know. But it needs the introduction to them. It's always the tricky part.
When do you? Yes, yeah.
And
how do you know? How do you do it as well? Yeah.
Will they?
Will they accept?
Will my kids accept?
Accept, yeah. And if they don't accept, do I then break up with her?
You see, for me, it's. I never go to that point. I always try, and unfortunately, I've never been in a situation where they don't get along with my kids or anything. No. I try and I'm going to say separate it to as that I have my life with my kids such that they do not feel that whoever is in my life is coming to replace their mom. Also to divert my attention from them. I think those two are very, very important, to make the kids. I think we are adults. Let me not say I don't want to say I worry less about what the adult is thinking. But I communicate and say, okay, look, this is what's happening. I'm not ready to introduce you now to my kids.
Okay.
But I want you in my life. But I'm not ready now. That comes with a lot of compromise. During that phase of the relationship, when my kids are there, that means we can't see each other. We can't see each other, and they're there temporarily.
When they leave, then we can see.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now, for someone whom I'm in a relationship with, maybe selfishly so, there's an expectation that they understand how I feel and the reason behind it. And also, from the moms dating, I couldn't be bothered, honestly.
Because you've made peace with the fact that you don't want them back.
Yes.
Yeah.
However, the dating and not only the dating, even the livelihood, it needs not to affect
The kids.
the kids.
Yeah.
I think we've worked so hard, to subject our kids to certain things,
Amazing.
I always say, for instance, this thing about alcohol. I'm sorry to use that as alcohol. For me, I'd rather have the kids make their choice, whether when they are older, of course, whether they're gonna drink or not, and not be in a situation where I drink myself to a pulp, I tipper there, my kids see that, and then they say, "Yo,
This is nonsense.
if this is what alcohol does,
Then
I'm
done.
No. It's how we do things in front of them, because we are their first experience on most things that they will come across in their lives ahead. So honestly, Teds, for me, it's if I'm not comfortable, and
the person must understand as well
Yeah,
that or them saying, I don't want to introduce you to my kids, it's not something that's supposed to come as, so you don't trust me, or
Yes.
it's offensive. It's
it doesn't
their
mean-
choice.
It doesn't mean that I love you any less.
Less, or I trust you
Yeah.
any less.
That's
It's just me.
Yes.
Understand that it's me.
Similarly, if naye unomntwana, if she has a child, I would depend on her. If she's not comfortable,
It's okay.
it's okay.
It doesn't mean she loves me less.
No.
Yeah.
It's okay. Of course, there'll be inconveniences here and there. But when you've made up your mind, no, man, I want this person. I like this person, and so forth. You look at the glass half full.
Yeah.
Yeah, rather than half empty, and not making everything about you.
About you.
Yeah.
Once before we wrap up, and the question I want to ask you is, there's a lot of gents that are not there in their kids' lives, and one would look at you and say, you've got a career, you've got a stable job, you've got a stable income, or you've got something that's coming in. So even if it's 100 rand, you know that 100 rand is coming in every month, and I can split it to run, and my kids are there. Or I can call my kids, we go have lunch or have a guinya and whatnot. But then there is a mate or a gent that is watching probably and saying, I don't even have an income. So then the mom to the kids starts to punish the guy just because he cannot afford. That's one instance where a father wants to be there, but the mom is saying, no, you're not paying any maintenance, so you don't deserve this. Then there's also a gent that is...
Sorry, Ted, I know. You are getting to the... But I want to talk about that specific point. In my situation where I was once denied access to one of my kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was the most painful thing ever.
And a lot of gents are going through that.
I was denied access, and it's the worst thing. Unfortunately, I didn't have control over that. That killed me. I didn't see
As
my
a
daughter.
man.
Yeah, I didn't see my daughter for, I think, 3 months. I didn't see her. I couldn't speak to her.
No communication,
No
nothing.
communication, none whatsoever. Yes, we don't communicate every day, but
But anytime
yes,
when you pick up the phone,
anytime,
you can, yeah.
So and it's not that it's not that I was not working. I was working. I was still providing for the kids. But it's just someone who made a decision and just said, "Good, because of this inconvenience, you're not gonna see your child for." And I'm like, "Aibo, kanjani?" It does not have to go to the extent of not having an income. I'm raising this, or I interjected you, such that to show good. Not only those that do not have an income get denied access, even those that want to be,
they still
Yes.
get denied.
Yeah, I had to fight. I fought.
It hurts, though.
It hurts.
It
It
does,
hurts.
yeah.
It hurts to the core. And then I haven't seen this child for 3 months, and I haven't spoken to her for that long. Yes, one might argue and say that no, 3 months is nothing, but no,
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. You may not speak to her for 30 days, but you know that any time I can.
Yes.
It's a different case
Yes.
where
You
in
know.
the 30 days, you know that even if I wake up and I feel like talking to her, I won't. That is different, I guess.
That's probably the time I was thinking about her and wanting to call her on a
You
daily
see,
basis.
on air, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because the access is not there. So it's decisions, and in most instances, it's a punishment to the child,
Sure.
because now you've got a child who's gotten used to this guy.
All of a sudden, boom, is not
Calls his
there.
father,
anymore.
and then all of a sudden this guy just poof.
Just like that.
Yeah, gone.
Gone.
Kanjani. It's a. I always say, it's not about me. No.
It's about the kid.
Yeah, because now you are denying your child access to their father, to punish the
Yeah.
father.
Yeah. Yeah.
The child becomes collateral damage.
Sure. And that's your blood as mom.
Yes.
Yeah.
That,
You're
now,
fighting a battle that is killing your own
yeah.
child.
So now, how do you, when those things happen, and then you're sitting there in those things, I'm like, hey,
It was a good riddance.
so it's very bad. It's a phenomenon that's used where we use to fight our battles.
And use our children.
Yes.
Yeah, as a weapon.
It's no, man. It's
On-
sorry.
We've spoken for long, and
Yeah.
it's amazing how you pointed out that I want to take the point that you said, I may have failed, but I'm not a failure. I think there's so much importance in us separating ourselves from our mistakes. I may have made a mistake, but I'm not a mistake.
Yeah.
I may have made a mess, but I'm not a mess. So that comes back to shame and guilt. And I did a video on it previously where I said we get to a point where we are feeling guilty about the stuff that we've done, so much so that we feel like we are
Yes.
that person. So I'm such a bad person because I did 1, 2, and 3. Instead of I made a mistake and I made a mess 1, 2, and 3. It's easier to come back from there than from a place where you're putting a nail on your head. Lastly, before I let you go on, and I know you want to go, you have to go to your son. Before I let you go, briefly, the decision to stay with your child. We know that we're living in a society where mom is immediate. 9 out of 10 families, mom was there. definitely. Yet you decided to stay with your kid. Challenge is one, and what drove you to that decision? And if it's a personal decision, you don't have to mention it, but from a mental perspective, and how am I going to do this? Because now you have to wake up a lot earlier, and we know women are inclined to doing that, and it's easier for them to do it than us gents. Take me through that decision and the challenges thus far raising your boy.
Look, it was a very funny. It's funny how it happened, because he was having discipline issues at school and whatnot, and then this one time, I think in June, I heard that the boy had in excess of 20 demerits.
Yo.
And I'm like,
How did you get
20?
there? How did you get
hey
there?
man, before you get to 20, you must have 5.
Surely, yes.
Yeah. So now I asked the mom, like, okay, when it was 5, what happened? Okay, put aside 5, 10,
Yeah.
15.
And you still
8.
kept quiet.
Yeah. Like, now what's happening? He says, no, hey, I gave a lumdana, what's in. And I'm like, hi. Like, literally, that's how
Sit
it happened.
down, yeah.
Yeah, that's how it happened. So I never had an educated sort of decision, so to speak.
It just fell
Yeah,
on your
and
lap.
I'm like, no. Yeah, I guess up. We need to deal with this discipline. And then we started from there, and then we worked backwards now to get permission from the grandparents of the child, that we are changing primary residence. Yeah. Yeah, and there was a lot of fear from them. Uguti.
Windoda.
No, siyambala umntana mo.
Oh,
Siyamthatha.
okay.
Yeah, so
okay.
there's
So you're
that.
manipulating the system.
Yes, kind of a. And singamaXhosa, umntana wentombi ngowakulonina.
Okay.
So they wanted, and I had to. So that's why those conversations with the grandparents had to happen. I didn't feel that I needed to be involved in those conversations. We had an issue around that, but I realized if I want what I want, I have to do that.
Okay.
Honestly, but I explained to them that I don't need to be involved. Like, me and her are the parents of the child. We are then deciding
deciding this is what we're
this
doing.
is what's best
for the child.
It has absolutely
There's nothing to do with the
either of
egos
us.
or
Yeah.
exactly.
And now, as a result of that, I go and tell my family that, hey,
This is what we've
This is
decided.
what- yes.
Okay.
and then my expectation was, but
Oh,
no,
great,
no,
yeah.
no, it didn't happen like that. I had to go and explain and whatnot, which was fine. That's how the decision came about. I thought it was, I'm gonna have it easy, So vuka kusasa ndithi hey,
Prepare your lunchbox. Let's get into the car. Jump
Yo.
in, go to school.
you need a support system. You see? Yeah, no, you need a support system.
Tough.
Yeah, no, it's tough. You've got this guy right here now, 24/7.
Right.
And
in
mention,
front of-
yeah.
Yes.
When coming from school, there'll be a question that that's what you're doing late.
We're so used to asking mom about that question. Mom, what's for dinner?
That's what you're doing late.
Ish.
And we are highly active people, so we get home very late. So I need to think now, Oguti, no, we don't do noodles. We haven't. No, we don't do
No
noodles.
2-minute noodles.
No, we don't do that. I think what we've done is to cook, not for one day,
Okay.
cook for 2 days.
Then you warm up the food. for
Yeah.
the-
Yeah, that gives you sanity. It gives you sanity.
It is for 2 days.
Yeah, 2 days
Yeah.
nyana. So if send the rice,
You know that you're going to have rice again the next day.
yeah, we freeze it. Yeah. Okay, if we choose to have umvubo on Monday, for example, and then we know what it's in the freezer.
Okay.
Yeah. On Tuesday, It's an option.
We might have it. It's
Yeah.
there. It's on the table. It's on the cards.
And you must also, even when you do mvubo, I'll pay you that one day. Mvubo,
For the next day.
for any other day of the week.
Oh, you
when
never know.
So we try and avoid of having the same thing 2
Oh,
consecutive days.
but you're gonna have it every other day.
Yeah, so maybe
It's
like
there for
after
the
2
other
days
day.
or 3 days.
So it's there.
Yeah, so on the days, it's very challenging, and he has had to learn to be domesticated because I can't do everything. Now he irons.
Wow.
The advent of a dishwasher.
Thank goodness.
Thank goodness. Benzuthi xa kufika visitors phaa badibane necephe emnyango. No, the advent of a dishwasher.
That was glorious.
So we're fortunate to have that. But look, if you ask me, I wouldn't have it any other way.
Wow.
I'm enjoying this. Yes, there are challenges that come with it. In certain instances, you find that with this situation, me staying with, and then the mom just becomes,
Not there anymore.
yeah, she gets removed from the situation.
But I think it's the same thing as well with single dads and single moms, because mom is there fully in, and you find that a mom doesn't come to ask.
Yeah.
She can afford. She doesn't need to bother you. If you don't want to come on board, it's
so be
okay.
it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it doesn't necessarily mean that you as the dad, you just have to pull back and say, no, but you got it sorted.
Yeah.
You understand? So, yeah.
So it's the willingness. It's the willingness of the person, Tats, honestly. That guy is very active, man.
Nice.
The sport schedule is
insane.
It's
Crazy.
It's insane. Crazy. And you need a support system. And we sometimes disagree or fight over certain things. But I'm like, you are my support system. If work says I must go to Cape Town for a week,
I have to ask you.
I have to ask
take
you
care
to
of the kid for
take care
the
of
week.
Of the child for a week.
Yeah.
There would be resistance every now and then,
but it is what it is. Yeah.
Because
if she was staying with the kid and she has to be taken to work for a week or 2 weeks, you have to stay with the kid. Yeah.
So it's one of those. Akuna blueprint.
It is what it is.
Sizobona phambili. And
Ons, you've been amazing. Super amazing. We spoke for 1 hour 10 minutes, and we can still go ahead. The last question, however, is if you were here, sitting on my seat as the host, and you want to ask Ondela, what question would you ask him that I left out in the hour 10 minutes?
Wow. Yes, sisters. I think what keeps me strong, I think that's the question. In as much as I would come across from them, in our circles as being jovial and joking and, but what keeps me strong, I believe, is I'm a believer spiritually. I believe in prayer. I believe in the ancestors. We do imisebenzi is closer to connect with them. It's part of my life that I hold sacred. That my relationship with God and the ancestors is very important to me. Yeah. I think I was very close to my grandmother. Very, very close. And her passing, when umdomnyama, you don't, you never rest. Even when you die, you have to be an ancestor.
There's no such thing as rest in peace.
No. When you rest, you must work.
Keep working.
Yes, So I'm a believer. I pray a lot. I really do. I pray. You're probably surprised. I'm sure Pumza is.
No. No.
So yeah. I think
It's important to have a spiritual inclination
absolutely.
because there is a higher being, there is a higher power. So holding on to that, I think it gives us that sort of grounding
Yes.
that we definitely need. So one cannot just go and not have a spiritual connection somewhere of some sort.
No, absolutely.
So yeah.
It's that question.
Awesome.
What
Awesome.
keeps me?
I was going to ask you what keeps you going, actually. But anyway, Ons, it's been amazing. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. It's been an eye-opening encounter or conversation, from laughs to seriousness to the deep stuff. And I believe as gents, those are some of the conversations that we're not supposed to be shying away from.
Yeah.
Because as we're looking at each other in the cricket field, it's just laughing and everything is on surface level, not understanding that there's
Shouting
a
at each
deeper.
other
You
as
understand?
well,
You dropped your catch, Tats. You understand? But there's something deeper than just meets the eye, and that just grows and strengthens our relationships as well as we grow in this life. And you never know, like I was saying, that with Alake going to St. Stephen's, I then told him that Power is going to St. Stephen's as well. It's like, oh yes, at least I've got a bigger brother. You understand? So what I'm just trying to put out is, you'd never know when our kids, they end up being in families where we are now related.
Yep.
And you trace back and you're like, no man, our great-great-great-grandfathers were friends. We're not even blood related.
Yeah.
And that's how traditional, or how people end up being family.
Yeah.
And it's not only the blood. So it's such conversations that's going to make sure that as we grow and our generations are growing, our next generation is growing, they can also look back and say, oh, this is how they did things. And they can reference from that. So amazing. Thank you, man.
No, thank you, Tats.
If you're still here, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing. You stayed for 1 hour, 16 minutes. It's going to get to 20. Yes, 1 hour, 20. Maybe 1 hour 15, somewhere there. But the fact that you are here, thank you so much. It means a lot. The fact that you are here and you're putting down in the comment section how much you know Ondela, and some of the stuff that you said. Did you know that this man is wise? Yes, he misses straight balls when he's playing cricket, and he drops some catches, but there is so much wisdom. No wonder on M.A.N. You know what M.A.N. is? That I have, that I'm closing up and covering with.
Where do you see that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Where?
There's
Thank
no
you so
trace
much.
of him
See
back
you
there.
soon. Enjoy the weekend, and we'll see you again on Wednesday with Spill with the Beans, Thursday with Game On, and Friday back with the M.A.N podcast. Cheers for now.